Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Janice, and welcome to Janice Inspiring Change 2021. Today I have Maggie with me, and I'll introduce her. But first, I want to say that the reason I'm doing these interviews is because I was inspired to bring more inspiration to you this new year. So for the month of January, I'm doing interviews with some holistic health practitioners who help people live their best life. Basically, is in the ways that they know how. And so today I have an expert with me, and we'll get into our conversation. So welcome, Maggie. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. I just want to say, Maggie and I have only met once, and we spent a handful of days together in California at the Truth About Cancer conference there. It was last fall, October, something like that, and we spent some time together. It was an amazing weekend, and I got to know Maggie a little bit, and we've been keeping in touch a little bit. And I thought Maggie was a perfect person to bring on and talk about how she helps people live their best life. So I will introduce Maggie. I have her bio here, so I will get started with that. Maggie is a certified Feng Shui practitioner in the Buddhist Black sect tradition, space clearing expert, gracious lifestyles redesign consultant, certified clinical aromatherapist, and certified life coach. She is the co-author of Living an Extraordinary Life, and I want to talk about that because boy, is she ever living an extraordinary life. She's a contributing the chap. She contributes the chapter "Let Your Space Be Your Coach." She has studied intensively with and received a recommendation from Denise Lin, author of Sacred Space, the first book on energetic space clearing. She is the owner of Healthy Images, a company which focuses on feng shui, space clearing, and distribution of young living essential oils. Maggie is a graduate of Ohio State University with a BS in education, minor in dental hygiene, and holds a postgraduate degree in advertising administration from Watford College in England. Welcome, Maggie. And I do want to say, maybe you can tell people, tell our audience what I said. I think you're living an extraordinary life because when I met you, you were in the throes of a new relationship, and you're traveling all over the world. And can you just tell us about that? Because I think it's so exciting.
Yes, I have been doing a lot of fun and exciting things. I do love adventure, so I'm always a little bit. My ears are open to something. Um, and I was doing a very intensive 4 month um, personal development course last year when we met. So that's why I was in California. But previous to that, the year before, I was at a conference, and then through a mutual friend, I met a Dutch man. And we started dating. We have kind of a joke because he lives in the Netherlands. I live in Delaware, USA. So our dates are long dates in wonderful places. So that's our relationship, and we do talk every day. Thank God we have WhatsApp. It's free talking, so we talk every day and plan our next date, and it's fun. And we have a blog, loverevisited.org, if anybody wants to go look at that. So that's fun. And now, of course, we've had a year of a little bit trickier trying to have a long distance relationship like that, but we're doing great. So
That sounds fantastic. And I know because I've met you in person, I know how exciting that is for you. And I know that you're just so passionate about this relationship and how you're doing it. Really, I mean, it's not ideal perhaps that you've made it perfect from what the way you've decided to move forward with it. So I think it's fantastic. Yeah.
Well, that's an actually interesting point, because part of my philosophy in life is, whatever's there, it's perfect. So look for what's right. Look for the perfection in it. And, truly, we do have such a unique bond, and I appreciate that. And the universe has just moved us along in a perfect way. And I'm in perfect faith that, whatever comes next is a perfect thing. That's it. So, so that I use through all the adventures in my life, whether it's my business or my family and all that. So,
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that with us. Yeah, thank you. So let's talk about tell us about what your business and what you do, and share that with us.
okay. So my business really is, focused on a few services that I offer, but my purpose really is just to inspire and help those who want to build and reclaim beauty, order, freedom in their lives. And so that's a pretty broad mission. That's what it is. Right now, I'm working with, well, I've worked for, more than 20 years with feng shui, space clearing, and essential oils. I find them extremely powerful methods of bringing balance, peace, beauty into your life. And that's what I try to help people do by teaching them and showing them the way on that. So that's what we'll look a little bit at today.
Okay. And so you've been doing this for a number of years, you said.
Yes. I can give you a brief. I'll try to keep it really brief, the feng shui part. So feng shui literally came into my life in 1994. And that was because I had a friend that said, you need to see my friend who does feng shui, because I had a leak I had a problem with the pool in the back of my house or something. And so I had this expert come, and she truly is an expert. And she did this feng shui. And then meanwhile, a couple things happened. My husband had a heart attack, and he was home, and this wasn't going to work. Our kids were young. And so she came, and I was concerned about the backyard, the work being done or wasn't being done. And she said, no, wait a minute. You've got an important thing going on here. Your husband is very ill, and, we need to look at the whole structure of your house. And she made a bunch of recommendations, and I did everything. And guess what? He recovered. He went back to work. Everything great. So I'm going like, that's kind of interesting. And the next year I thought, well, I'll have her back, because I think there had been maybe that was one of the economic drop downs or something. And he had to work from home. That was it. Computers were in, everybody had to work from home. So I said, come and look at it. So she did that. And his income stayed right up there. He was like a top salesman in the country, and he stayed there. And a lot of the people now working from home and in home, whether in their basement or whatever, were not doing so well. So I'm like, this stuff works. I don't know how. And then she started and that was the 3-year Black Sect Buddhist feng shui training I did. It was 3-year training. And I love the concepts of the feng shui. This is not the traditional compass school. There's two main schools of it, but it works. So feng shui really works, and it can bring a lot of benefit to your life. So I love to share that. I love to do it. And then continuing on from that, eventually I studied energetic space clearing with Denise Lynn, which we mentioned there. And that I find to be one of the most powerful tools that I can, offer to people. Mm-hmm. And we'll talk about it a little bit today with the 3 points.
Before we keep going though, for those people who don't really know what feng shui is there a short definition that you can share with us? Because some people, maybe they've heard of it, but maybe they haven't. So for those who don't, for the viewers who don't really know, can you give a brief description?
Yes. So I think probably, especially people that follow you, to understand something about energetics in the body. They know, especially from you, how food has energy, and is it increasing your energy or bringing your energy down, et cetera. It's all frequency. It's all about frequency. So feng shui, a short way is to just call it acupuncture, acupuncture that balances the energy lines in your body. Acupuncture for your space, basically. So what we're doing is just looking how energy moves through space and then doing things that will make it move more to your advantage.
Mm-hmm. That's perfect. I love that. Acupuncture for your space. Perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And no needles.
And no needles. We have little things we do, but no needles. But a lot about intention too. So
Right. Yeah. So what is it that you mentioned you're developing a program, and I think that's more or less what we're going to talk about today, about the elements of your program. So do you want
yeah,
to tell us a little bit more about that?
the program is the Clear Path to Peace and Prosperity.
Mm-hmm.
So, and what we're looking at, so I thought the first part is just assessing the three main elements of that, and then how to apply it, and then you get into the more sophisticated parts of it, like the space clearing ceremonies, etc. I just mentioned the energetic space clearing, etc. So what I wanted to do today is just briefly touch on what we call the foundational part, and that's the first part really of just looking at these three main things. And one is setting intention. Number two is looking at the vessel, I call it, which is yourself, your body. And then the third part is your environment, that part around you where your body functions. So so that was the idea here. We'll just kind of talk about
Sure.
those three
Yeah.
parts. Okay.
Yeah.
So I could start off with intention. And
Okay.
this is like a perfect time to be doing, because it's January, and people are often, oh, okay, new year, new intentions, etc. So basically, though, we should be, or we can be, or we get to set intentions all the time, every day, every time we start an activity, etc. And what's the purpose? The purpose is to align. Again, we're talking energy. Align with what you really want in your life. Now, sometimes I hear people say, don't ever go to the negative, of what you don't want. But I encourage you to, sorry, I'll turn my phone off here. It's dinging. I encourage you to look. So take in your setting intentions. So take a moment and think what you don't want, so that you have that clear, and then you can go forward to what you do want. Now, I recommend for people, we have in the traditional feng shui, 9 areas. There's a kind of a map of your space that we use, and it's called the Bagua. And the Bagua is, if you think of like a tic-tac-toe with the 9 squares. So just, and that's the map that we put on top of a space. So we can put on top of your property, your house, your desk, whatever. But the 9 areas relate to 9 areas of your life. So I suggest that people get those 9 areas, write it down. I'll tell you what they are right now. And then you can think about, what is it I don't want to have happen in those areas, or what's been happening that I don't like, and then translate that into what I do want. And then you're going to have more clarity about it. So I'll give you the 9 areas. So if you want.
Sure. Yeah.
And I'm giving them in a certain order. It's an order that I use, which is actually creates kind of a prayer really on your space, because everything is interconnected. So it's a way of interconnecting them. I can't really illustrate that now, but I'll give you the 9 areas. So the first one is ancestors. So this is everything that came before you, from your parents forward. So whatever, think about that and what didn't work and what you want to happen, but start with it. So ancestors. The next one is wealth. So we can call it money, but I like to say wealth because wealth, it's financial security. The next one is wellness or health. So your health and energy, well-being. The next is called travel and helpful people. So that has to do with going out into the world. And the next one is children and creativity. So that's before we had ancestors, that's what came before you. Children and creativity is what you give out into the world. The next one is knowledge and spiritual development. So that's your growth and mental, emotional, spiritual way. The next one is fame. And a lot of people like fame. I don't want to be famous, but it's really how you're perceived in the world by other people. So that's your fame. And then the next one is career. So that's your life work. It doesn't have to be your job, but your life work. And then the last one is marriage and partnership, because from marriage come a partnership, become children, and the whole cycle starts again. So those are the 9 areas. And then that's what I say. Think about how they're going. What is it? What's working? What's not working? And then what do you want to create in those areas? So so then a couple questions that I put down. So how is your, if you set goals last year, I'm going to say January 2020, how did that work out considering that everything got flipped around? How many of those things actually manifested? And if they didn't, why? And what would you do differently now? If they did work, did you celebrate? If they didn't work, was that because you just didn't follow up on it? Or is it because, everything got in the way? And then what can you do differently now to align with your intentions? So I was going to go ahead.
Just want to remind everyone, that I was going to write things down and then thinking, okay, well, I can listen to this again. This is why we're doing it. Well, one of the reasons we're doing it like this is well, we're getting the live, but then we can go back and listen. So if anyone wants to go through these, then just remember that you can listen to this and stop the video and then carry on and go through this and kind of dissect what Maggie's saying. So that's awesome. Yeah.
And great. I can list them in the comments too after you do it.
Sure. Yeah.
You can for people too. Yeah. So I want to give an example of this in the goal setting and setting intentions. So I have a friend, her name is Donna. I was talking to a couple of days ago, and she's pretty driven. So she normally has a nice list of things she wants to do in the coming year, every January, setting the goals. And of course, this past year, that just didn't happen. And so for a number of reasons, but she actually did, some good self-reflection and realized that part of it she doesn't set up postmarks along the way, or goal posts along the way, like, am I really working on it? And of course the other thing is the rug got pulled out of so many intentions that people had just because of not being able to meet with other people, and on and on and on the story goes. So she was reevaluating now for 2021, and a couple things came up as she just realized how much energy she had spent previously being driven, making this big list of goals, and then how much did they actually fit in with what she really, really wants in her life. So she came to the conclusion to just slow down. And, she has a very short list this year, but she has the intention to make them actually manifest. And she knows they're going to improve her life, that they're going to make her happy when they're done.
Well, I think it's important, and I know I do this with my clients when they're looking to change their diet, whether it be for weight loss or disease management or cancer, whatever it is that they have going on, is to set achievable goals too, because it's important to have big goals, that's for sure, but sometimes they have to be dissected and broken down, and you reach one and then you reach another. Like with weight loss, perhaps it's 10 pounds at a time if someone has a lot of weight to lose. Perhaps it's 5 pounds at a time. Perhaps it's, reaching that goal of being able um, to fit into a dress or something like that. So little goals are more achievable. So I just thought I'd add that.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Absolutely true. So, yeah. So then the next section here is what I call the vessel, but it's your body. And so your body is your vehicle in the physical life. So it includes your mind and your emotions, et cetera. They're all there, but it's your physical body. When your physical body leaves this earth, then it's a new adventure. But this is the adventure that you're on right now. And so, questions to ask yourself are, how's your energy? Do you have pain? How's your energy? So really do an analysis of your body and where you feel. Now, one of the things, and of course you are the expert when it comes to the nutrition and the effect that it has on you. But one of the things that I try to remind people and think of for my own well-being is being aware immediately when something starts to feel out of tune. Like your body is a tuning fork in a way. It's completely built from frequencies, and you may have heard, a lot of people have heard of how music affects your physical body, etc. So it is a tuning fork. So learn to recognize your own body and what its tone is, and then when it starts to go out of tune, do something. So do something to bring it back in. And
Yeah.
then yes,
I was
go ahead.
going to say, the ignoring that, and that this is what happens a lot of the time we ignore those signs where our body is out of tune. The signs are there, but we do ignore them, and that I think is because I think that we get used to that. We expect it, we think it's normal, especially with health conditions, with little aches and pains, or with digestion. People think that's normal. They've been brought up to think, oh, it's normal for my age, or I can't expect it to be any better. So there's this sense of not really thinking much further than that and not paying attention to those signs. And so I think it's so important to do exactly what you're saying, is to be very in tune with what it is that you're feeling, and ask yourself why. Yeah.
Yeah, ask yourself why. And is it, like, is it stress? Is it lack of sleep? Is it toxins in your environment? Like, that's a whole topic that we could spend
Yeah.
probably 6 shows on, toxins in the environment. But, I know that, well, I'm a distributor of Young Living essential oils. I'm passionate about them because they're so effective, and also because it's really put me on the path of cleaning toxins out of my life. So, I like household cleaner stuff and toothpaste and makeup, and that's just stuff that well, I don't do that much with makeup, but we do have a non-toxic makeup. So all these ways, when you really start to look at the ways that we're being just hammered with toxic chemicals day in and day out, and that doesn't even include things like EMFs. That's a whole nother topic too. When right now during 2020 in the United States anyway, they're throwing 5G up everywhere, and there's a lot of discussion about that, which I won't go into. But I want to just say about the essential oil. So somebody introduced me, a friend, actually a feng shui friend, in 1999 is when I first got introduced to Young Living essential oils, and I had no intention of doing a business or anything. I have a nice business now, but it's only because they're so effective. And you can take an oil, and that's where I mean about being in tune and reacting immediately. When I feel like a muscle or whatever, a sneeze, I have my, like allergy. No, I don't want to, I can't use that word. That's not FDA compliant. But anyway, I just start sneezing sometimes for whatever reason. And lavender has some stuff in it that makes that go away, and a couple drops of that and boom, you're done. I have become so accustomed to be able to readjust very quickly when something's going out of tune that it's miraculous. And I just want everybody else to understand that and do it, apply that to your life. Be happy, feel good.
That's for sure.
And the other thing, I will do a plug on that too, because it's 20 years ago. So I was 55 when I started 21 years ago. So I just turned 76 in December.
Wow.
And I credit a lot of how healthy I feel, how I look, etc., to using that philosophy and using those kind of products really to just keep me chugging along happily, happy, healthy, and energetically. So
You look fantastic. And I remember one day when I figured out you had said something on a post on Facebook, and I thought, wow, Maggie can't be that old. Yeah, not that, there's anything wrong with that, but, I was really surprised because we had spent some time together and you had as much energy as everyone else. And, it was really amazing. And so much of that is the work that you do when you're using those practices on yourself. First and foremost. And I guess like most of us, you who do what we do, we have gone through those challenges and come out on the other side. And that's why we offer this to other people, because we've been there, right? So
100%, right. So yes, so it's actually wise to listen to other people who've managed to go through things, and believe that things can feel, that you can feel good. You're meant to feel good. Your body is meant to heal itself. Give it the opportunity. That's a big message.
And one thing I want to mention is, the fact that most people don't know how good their body is meant to feel. And that really is sad, because most people go through life accepting the situation and never really getting to that place of feeling great, having so much energy when you wake up every morning, jumping out of bed, thinking, okay, what's next? Because I think there's a whole bunch of reasons why that is the case, but most people don't know the power of all of these holistic approaches and what they can do and the difference. Once you go through that and see the difference, you never want to go back to what you were doing before, because it wasn't good there. It wasn't a happy place.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It did feel that good. Just a little side on that is the age thing. So last year when I was doing that intensive 4-month personal development thing, so we had to set some goals. And so I would be turning 75 right when we finished up. That was a year ago, and a little over a year ago. So I made a goal. So I said 75 is the new 25. And I took that from the 60s, the new 40. It's kind of a thing that goes around. But there were a lot of people in that group. There was about 70 people, and a lot of them were in like their 30s, 40s, or whatever. They were astounded when they found out that I was 75. Well, I was 74. And as soon as they found out my actual age, their way of treating me was so different.
Yeah.
And I think it was sad. It was sad because their expectation suddenly of me, because of being in my mid 70s, was like I was, whatever, the 110-year-old person or something. It was shocking to me that they would just change their expectation of me so much. I didn't change one bit, just one little bit of information they had about me. So it's very interesting, and I would encourage people to think again about what your perception of what any particular age should or can be.
Yeah. And I know I did a lot of research about the blue zones. I don't know if you know about the blue zones. It's groups of people. There's 5 groups of people in the world that age
Oh, yes, I do know about them.
Live to be over 100, and you know they have several things in common, and one of them is that the elderly population in those populations are looked up at instead of looked down on, and are
Right.
treated as, yes, they're revered, and so we tend to, in our Western culture, do it the complete reverse, and it's quite sad. And that can be, you know, it can be ageism. It can be from somebody who's 20 looking at a 50-year-old, or somebody who's 40 looking at a 75-year-old. It doesn't matter the age. It's just that mentality that goes with, and it's upbringing and it's conditioning, and that anyway. You
Cultural.
have another we've
Yeah,
already got.
one more real quick. So I'll go into,
That's
of course,
okay.
the third one is my biggest thing, and that's environment. So that is really, that's where, you know, where the feng shui. So, and that's affected by, you know, the earth, et cetera. But I'll just hit really quickly a couple things. So one is, so a lot of people think of clutter, you know, when they're thinking of their space. And so I just want to give a quick thing about clutter. So what is clutter really? And so here's my definition of clutter. Clutter is something that's no longer bringing your energy up. So my little quick trick on that one is when you walk into a room or whatever and you're looking around, imagine you have a line right at your belly button. And when you look in that room or you look at that piece of paper or whatever it is, you know, does that bring your energy up or does it bring it down? If it brings it down below your, you know, whatever, it's bringing your energy down, it's clutter. So then you have to look at, well, clutter. So what am I going to do with this clutter? And a lot of times it's something that you loved at one point. And my little example is you know, you get excited and you go, you're going to do some kind of an art project and you get all this stuff and you get started on it. And then company's coming. So you put everything away. And then later you pull it back out and you're working on it. And then company again, you know, so you put it away and that happens a couple times. And then eventually it's in the corner and doesn't come back out. And so now you look at it and you're like, but I was so excited about it and I never got it finished and I don't really want it, you know, and then you feel bad and bad and bad. And so then you get to decide right then. I'm not going to walk in your house and say that's clutter. You get to decide, is that something I really want to complete? And I'm going to get it, you know, I'm going to set it up in a way that I can get it completed and it'll make me feel happy. Or do I know I'm never going back to it? And then can I just move it on and maybe somebody else can use it and finish it, something like that. So clutter is a huge thing when it comes to your energy and your environment, and everything can be looked at that way. Mm-hmm. And what was good yesterday may not be good today. So let it go.
Yeah, great. Maggie, you have a hack on your website that you wanted to talk to the audience about. Do you want to tell us about that?
Well, it's just real quick. So it's a hack. It's a simple hack, and it's how to instantly transform your space. So the idea is, and I'm not going to tell you what the hack is. You get to go get it. But that hack is a great way now, the things we've talked about, to maybe sort of boost your energy, get you moving on some of these things. If you know, I've set it up to there, you can see if you're for realtors, but if you want to sell your house or something like that, it's a great way to just instantly transform. It goes back to feng shui. I'm not going to give you any more hint, but it's a really simple thing to do. It brings all the things that I want to help people with: beauty, peace, energy into their space. So just go, you're going to put the link down there, clearpathtopeaceandprosperity.com. That's all you have to go.
Clearpathtopeaceandprosperity.com. I actually went and signed up, but I haven't had a chance yet today to go and have a look at what the hack is. So I'm anxious to have a look at that myself. Yeah. Was there anything else that you wanted to talk about today that maybe I didn't ask you about, or that you want to say?
Let's see. I was just going to say, Mm. No, really, you know, I know because of time, and I have like mountains of, I could talk for hours. We were saying before about all this, and I was really kind of just touching at the first part of the course. I will, if you do sign up and get the hack, which I would love for you to do, then I will be sending more information as I get the course put together, which I don't have. And then also there, I'll be able to inform you if you wanted to go further. I do some long distance feng shui with people. Space clearing is my energetic space clearing in a space is probably one of the most powerful things that I do. And I can do that long distance as well. And then Young Living essential oils, which are extremely powerful. So you can ask me about that, or I'll send you information on that too. So those are my things. They work. I love them. I'd love for you to love them too.
There you go. Thank you so much for joining me today. And there is so much to talk about. Maybe it'd be a good idea to do another interview a little bit later, because I think that it's fascinating. I've always been interested in feng shui, and I have a couple of books, but you've kind of probed me into having a look, and I'll go on your website, or I've already clicked that, so I'll get that information and find out a little bit more. So thank you so much, Maggie.
Okay, well, thank you for having me. I really, really love seeing you again. We haven't seen each other for a year, but it's nice to be in contact. Thank you.
That amazing weekend that was so intense, and it was so great to meet you. So I'm going to sign off soon. I just want to say thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and definitely check out Maggie's hack on her website. And it was a clear path to, let me say that again. Can you say that again, Maggie?
Yes, just www.clearpathtopeaceandprosperity.com.
Okay, perfect. And I'm Janice, and I'm the founder of Janice Inspiring Change. I'll be doing more interviews this month, trying to bring to you, I'm bringing to you health practitioners that together we are all trying to inspire change in people. And I hope that you'll find the interviews valuable. So thank you very much, and tune in on Monday. Michelle Post and I are going to be chatting about SRT, subconscious release techniques. So join me then. Okay, bye for now.